Welcome back, everyone, to 2-Minute Warning. This is episode
4.
4. Heck yeah. We made it. We made it past 3.
We made 4.
Actually, we made 5.
We're going
to keep talking about this, but we made 5, but it's just like...
The lost episode is still
It's
somewhere.
still lost somewhere.
We'll find it.
Yeah.
Well, we probably won't.
We have a very special episode today because he's technically... We have our very first official guest.
Official that you will see.
You will see. Maybe. If this doesn't get lost.
Who knows?
But yes, we have our first official guest. Some of you may know him, some of you may not. He's a very expert. He's an expert on a lot of things.
Yes.
Specifically, basketball, soccer, baseball, football, everything that we talk about.
Yeah.
He knows about, right?
Yeah.
All right. So everyone, give a warm welcome to Darsh Graywall.
Woo! Welcome, Darsh.
Welcome to the
middle
show.
Let's do this.
All right. Well, you know how the show works. We have 2 minutes to talk about pretty much just any topic that we bring up, and just give us your best opinion on it. You know,
Yeah,
your best
got you.
expert analysis
Yeah.
on these things.
Guys, I'm an expert on sports. You know, football, it's the thing with the oval ball, and baseball.
Oval? Oh yeah, it is oval.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah, I see.
I was like, what? Yeah, see,
Already more
He's
knowledgeable.
already more
Look
knowledgeable.
at that.
Nice.
Look at that.
All right, so what we're gonna do first is we're gonna do 2 minutes, and we're gonna talk about one of the biggest topics of the week so far.
Yeah.
And even if you're just like a casual sports fan, you would know that this was happening, right? So we're gonna talk about Lionel Messi. Lionel. I think it's Lionel, right?
I like Leo better
Leo
than Lionel.
Messi. Leo. We'll
Leo.
talk about Leo Messi, okay?
Go.
All of his career, he's been with FC Barcelona, the football team from Spain. Pretty much, if you don't know anything about sports, you've probably heard about Messi and Ronaldo. Those are the two people that you're just like, that
Those
everyone
are
knows about.
the two
right?
best soccer.
So we're gonna take
football
2
players in the
minutes.
world.
Just talk about what has happened this week. What are our thoughts on it? So 2 minutes starting now. Anyone?
I'll start.
Go ahead.
As you know, we don't know much about all sports. And for me, this is something that I don't know much about. The only thing I really know about Lionel Messi is I watched him in, I believe, the 2014 World Cup for Argentina.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's about it.
I remember that. Yeah.
That's the only time I've watched him play soccer. I hear him and Ronaldo are great. But I think any time a major star player leaves his team,
Mhm.
it's a huge talking point. And it just, it shakes up the league as a whole.
Yeah.
And I think that's just what happens. And that's going to happen to soccer. I don't even know the league, guys. I'm trying to think right now.
And there's different leagues. I think.
Yeah.
There's a Euro.
Yeah, I don't know, but
Probably not.
it's going to shake up that league. And it'll be a big deal for sure.
All right, Darsh, thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not a big expert on soccer either. But as a kid, I grew up in India, so I only played soccer and cricket. So, but I know I was a big fan of Ronaldo and Messi,
Yeah.
but I still don't know much. But yeah, I know he is better than Ronaldo in my opinion, just from the things I've heard.
Wow.
And I remember I used to play on him on FIFA 14 a lot.
Exactly.
That's the only video game I ever played, and yeah, I think I'm excited to see what he brings to Paris.
Okay. Well, pass me my prop real quick. I have this hat. This PSG hat. You guys can't see it if you're listening on the podcast, but if you're watching this, I have a hat. I have a PSG hat because like I said, I don't really watch international soccer. Neither do I watch Major League Soccer. Is that what it's MLS?
MLS, yeah.
But I got this hat because my sister got it for me when she went to Paris. And so I was forced to kind of be a PSG fan because I was like, oh, I like Neymar. I like Mbappe. Those are two very good players.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I heard that Messi was leaving, I was like, wait, what if he goes to PSG of all the teams? And I was just like, wait, he's actually that's actually where he's going. So kind of excited about that. Still won't really watch it.
No.
But, good for them if I see them succeed.
Very
I'd be like, I
popular
was a fan.
worldwide, but not in this
Not here.
area right
Yeah.
here.
All right, so that's our 2 minutes on soccer for today. Yeah, here's the hat. You guys can't see it. You guys can't see it if you're listening either way.
I'll wear it.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Darsh will get a hat now.
Nice.
All right, moving on. Since Darsh is here, we have the opportunity to talk about fantasy football this year.
Yes.
If you guys play fantasy football, you know that it gets pretty competitive.
Yeah, and
Especially if it's like with like a tight knit group of guys.
with a group of your friends, like you talk smack.
Yeah.
During drafts or
Yeah.
during the season, like
Yeah.
it gets pretty intense, but it's super fun.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do right now, while Darsh is here,
Yeah.
is we're gonna pull up our fantasy teams. Right.
We drafted pretty early.
We drafted pretty early,
but we all have to leave soon, and
Yeah.
we wanted to do it in person, so that's
Yeah.
why.
All right. So we're gonna do 2 minutes each to go through our team and defend it.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll go first.
Okay.
If you wanna give me 2 minutes, Tommy, I will go through my team
Okay.
and I'll try my best to defend it.
I'm gonna be serious on the 2 minutes too.
All right.
I'm gonna
All right.
cut you off.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
All right. So my team consists of my quarterback is Kyler Murray. We're gonna go over my running backs later, but I have Devontae Adams as my wide receiver 1. I have Brandon Ayuk as my wide receiver 2. I have Darren Waller as my tight end. My flex right now is Darrell Henderson, but that might change. He's a running back for the Rams. My defense is the Niners, and my kicker is Harrison Butker. Now, the reason why I skipped over my running backs is because this is a very risk reward type thing for
High
me.
risk, high reward.
High risk, high reward type thing for me.
Mhm.
And it's because I drafted Najee Harris. I drafted Najee Harris 12th, okay, and I drafted Travis Etienne Jr. 72nd. So they're pretty far apart.
Yeah.
But those are my two starting running backs as of right now. Both rookie running backs, but both players that I actually watched in college, and I was like, these are two very explosive guys.
Mhm.
They can go off at any moment. Najee Harris will be the RB1 for Pittsburgh. Travis Etienne will share some snaps, but he will be like one of the main people to be running that offense. So I think that it's a worthy risk, but we might have to make some trades to just improve that running back core. But we'll see for now. We're gonna take the risk. With 34 seconds left, I'm gonna go over my bench. I have Henry Ruggs, I have Ronald Jones, Darnell Mooney, Alan Lazard, Trevor Lawrence is my backup QB. Because why not, guys? No one drafted him. We have Devontae Parker as another wide receiver, and Adam Trotman, because why not? So my team is not very deep, as you can tell. 10 seconds left. But I still think that I can make a push. By the way, I have won 2 straight fantasy football leagues. Just saying. So,
Okay, you've been cut
and
off,
that's the
but
time.
that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Two-time champ.
Thank you.
That's right.
All right, Darsh. We're gonna give you 2 minutes to
Yes.
to try and just defend
Defend
pick
your decisions
and try to
and
speak as close
Yeah.
to the mic as you can.
and go.
All right. So with the draft, my strategy was, because I'm not a big expert on football either, my strategy was to find out the guys that these guys like and draft them and use that as leverage for trades. So my QB is Patrick Mahomes. Is the biggest Patrick
My favorite
Mahomes
quarterback.
fan right here. And then Kamara, he loves Kamara for running back. And then I got Kareem Hunt,
The kicker.
Julio Jones.
Come on.
Eighth Julian, Goddard.
Goddard.
Dallas
Goddard.
Goddard. Yeah.
Dallas Goddard, Robbie Anderson, Ravens defense, and Matt Gay for the kicker.
Why?
Come on.
Why?
He was there, bro.
Hey, good stuff, man.
Yeah.
All
All right. So yeah, my goal is to either trade Mahomes, because I also have Wilson on my bench for a backup QB, right? So I'm gonna trade Mahomes for, I think I need better wide receivers, and maybe another cool running back would be nice.
Oh yeah.
And I think my defense is pretty solid with the Ravens. And I'll go over my bench as well. So I have Wilson, Mostert, running back, Gronk, Steelers defense, Marvin Jones Jr., Melvin Gordon III. I don't know their first names, so I have to click it. And Josh Lambo for kicker. Yeah, so we'll see how the trades go. I'm hoping to get Diggs, the wide receiver, and maybe another running back from him for Mahomes. or I don't think I'll trade Camaro. I'm sorry, Theo.
That's okay.
Ouch.
Yeah,
You'll
so,
want Najee Harris in the middle of the season.
Who
Yeah.
knows?
so I'll be trading either Mahomes or Wilson, and then for better wide receivers. And we'll see how those trades go.
You have a very balanced team.
Very,
at
very
it.
balanced. Team,
Very
honestly,
balanced.
Yeah.
Got a lot of backup positions, but like you 2 quarterbacks, but you got a ton
He
of
has
trade
Mahomes
assets.
and Wilson, so those
Yeah.
very, very stacked. So,
Oh, you've been cut
Yeah.
off now.
all
But
right,
that's,
Tommy.
That's good. All
2 minutes to defend why.
right. Don't even start because
2 minutes to defend why you still haven't won a fantasy football league, even though you've started with pretty much good teams every time.
I always do.
So
All
2
right,
minutes starting
sorry.
now.
Okay. Look, I was in a tough spot. 8th pick I had for the first and the 8th pick, and then I think it was the 12th or 13th pick. So it's a tough position because elite running backs are gone, and you're kind of stuck. So I got 2 elite wide receivers, Tyreek Hill and Stephon Diggs. And I mean, that's a core right there.
Yeah.
2 receivers right there. Can't go wrong. Might trade one of them down the road. My running back committee is all right. I got Antonio Gibson, Chris Carson, and Myles Gaskin as my 3 like top kind of running backs. I'm expecting all 3 of those guys, who were all of them were hurt last year for stints, but I think this year, if one of them is healthy, they're going to be huge. All 3 of them showed real promise last year. And then I have a lot of backup running backs and receivers. Actually, let me look. I have 3 backup wide receivers and 4 backup running backs. Kenny Galladay is one of my backup receivers. Hopefully he gets healthy, which he might not. But that's okay. I got Devontae Smith, who's a rookie receiver from Alabama, I believe. I think he's going to be pretty number 1 option in Philadelphia. And then Mike Williams from the Chargers. Running backs, James Robinson had a great year last year, but Etienne might take some reps.
Yep.
Chase Edmonds, I think, could be the number 1 back in Arizona. I think Mike Davis could be the number 1 running back in Atlanta. And Trey Sermon could even be the number 1 running back on the 49ers. So I think those picks, one of those guys is going to be the number 1, I think. My kicker, Raider kicker, Daniel Carlson. I don't think the Raiders are going to score many touchdowns. So that's why I picked him. Patriots defense, they're always solid. Tyler Higbee at tight end. I was late to the game for a tight end, but I think Matthew Stafford's going to help the Rams. My quarterback is Jalen Hurts. I am calling it right now. He is going to have a decent fantasy season. I think he's going to shock some people.
That's 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think he's going to shock some people.
The Jalen Hurts pick was very questionable, especially because he has 1 quarterback and it's just Jalen Hurts.
It's just Jalen Hurts. That's all I need.
Okay, well, we'll go back to this and just be like, either good for you or just like, this is what you get. So, either way.
We'll be coming back.
Yeah. All right. Also, moving on to staying on fantasy football.
Yeah, stay on football.
The punishment for the fantasy football league is the tough one. Okay.
Yeah.
So the punishment for our league is that the ultimate loser, will have to stay at a Denny's, an IHOP, or whatever, one of those 24-hour diners.
Yeah.
And stay there for 24 hours.
Yep.
And every waffle, whole waffle,
pancake, where it's still,
or
yeah, we'll figure that out.
every waffle or pancake that they eat is minus an hour.
Yes.
If you guys have seen Dude Perfect, maybe it sounds familiar.
There's a lot
or
of people
TikToks,
doing this.
like-
This is
and
like a
like-
pretty common one, but it's a tough challenge.
Yeah. I would not want to lose.
No.
No.
So that's why I'm trying to get second to last. That's the
Yeah.
goal. As long as
Yeah.
I think I'll be able to get that.
I mean, if Andy's watching this or listening to this right now, I think you're the number 1 candidate right now.
Yeah.
You guys don't know this, but Andy pretty much just auto-picked his whole team.
Yeah.
He was at work, so unfortunately he was not able to pick his team.
Yeah.
His whole bench core is wide receivers.
He has
no
Joe
other
Burrow
running-
as a starting quarterback. I mean, what do you think? Hurts or Burrow? Who would you rather have at quarterback?
Burrow.
You'd rather have Burrow?
Yeah.
All right, that's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
I think the punishment could be kind of fun, though.
Yeah.
It would be.
Yeah.
And just to check on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. But yeah, we're staying with football.
Let's stay with football
Okay,
for a little bit.
With the NFL almost here, preseason has started.
Yes.
They played the Hall of Fame game. But we're gonna talk about something that's not on the field but off the field, which is the Hall of Fame ceremonies that have been going on all weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So Darsh, do you know about Peyton Manning?
Yeah, he from Arizona. Did he play?
Denver
Oh,
and
Colorado.
Indianapolis.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
All right.
All right, so we're gonna do 2 minutes just talking about Peyton Manning, his legacy,
Yeah.
what,
Mhm.
just why he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. So 2 minutes on Peyton Manning, starting now.
I'll start. I mean, the stats speak for themselves. He is top 5 in almost every
Mhm.
quarterback stat there is. I even think interceptions, he's up there too a little bit. But I mean, interceptions, like quarterbacks are going to throw interceptions. Not every quarterback is just elite
Mhm.
like that. But if you take chances, you're taking risks.
Mhm.
And I mean, he's one of the most winningest quarterbacks ever in the regular season. Playoffs, he had his struggles, but still finished with 2 Super Bowl championships. So, and he's I mean, even though he has a big forehead, he is
He does.
he's one of the most funny and
Yeah.
likable like NFL players of all time.
It's
Yeah.
big brains.
He does.
True.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
does.
that's very true.
Yeah, you need those.
I actually have a Peyton Manning jersey.
Wow.
This was from like 5 years ago, Super Bowl, when the Super Bowl was here in the Bay Area, and there was like on sale. It was like Peyton Manning Broncos jersey with the Super Bowl logo. So I was like,
Whoa.
that's pretty cool. I have a Peyton Manning jersey, and ever since then, I'm just like, I've watched him, and I'm like, this guy's legit. Like, it was very new. Football was very new to me at the time, and he was one of the guys that I was like, oh my god, wait, so this is what a good football player looks like.
Yeah.
So, and the fact that he did that on 2 teams, the Broncos and the Colts. Like,
Mhm.
right, he was a good quarterback, not just on one team. So he was pretty much a franchise quarterback for the Broncos, but he also did the same for Indianapolis. Oh
Yes,
my god,
the
that's
Colts.
so hard
Yeah.
to know. But yeah, Peyton Manning very much deserves. Did you see they only took like 12 seconds to like they said this. They took 12 seconds to discuss if he was in the Hall of Fame or not.
I mean, I think it should have been
Yeah.
shorter. It should have
Yeah.
been 1
No,
second.
yeah.
Like, vote.
Yeah.
All right, that's it.
Yeah. Darsh, I mean, time's up. Anything else to
Yeah,
say?
I mean, just the fact that he's a retired football player and I recognize him is saying enough. I can like name like the retired football players that I know. I can like count them on like one hand. So that
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
a legend.
All right, I'll go to another NFL. Let's talk about another Hall of Famer, Calvin
There we go.
Megatron
There we
Johnson.
go.
But my question, and we can talk 2 minutes about this, because there have been many great receivers,
Mhm.
but it's really hard because their careers have been so different.
Mhm.
My question is, does Calvin Johnson's legacy, is it tarnished because he was in Detroit? That's my
2
question.
minutes starting now. To me, yes. But one of the things that I was thinking about as I was seeing all the posts about the Hall of Fame this weekend was we were just talking about Peyton Manning, who has this legacy of like winning these Super Bowls, but then there's Calvin Johnson, who was with the Lions for, was it all like his whole career?
Yeah, a whole career
So
he played with
I
the
mean,
Lions.
playing for a team like the Lions is not only tough, but it's also like I feel like it's very mentally draining, physically draining. It's
I
just
think
like
so.
you're exerting all this effort, but you're not getting anything in return.
Yeah.
But so while I say that it has been tarnished by the fact that he hasn't had that like winning legacy,
Hmm.
the fact that he's a Hall of Famer and he's had all this good things that he has done, and he was playing for Detroit says a lot about him as a player,
Yeah.
right? Because we wouldn't know about him if he sucked and he played for Detroit,
Yes.
right? So, but us seeing that he played for Detroit and everyone knows, like I'm pretty sure he put Detroit on the map.
I think
for
they
the
were
NFL,
they
right?
were really bad, and
So-
he made him relevant
Yeah.
again.
So-
And Barry Sanders
While-
was the only relevant player in Detroit for a long time, and then Megatron Johnson came.
Exactly.
What
So-
do you think, Darsh, about
Yeah.
Megatron?
Well, Megatron Johnson is a cool ass name, and you just can't have shit in Detroit, so it sucks for him.
Yeah, I know.
But, yeah, I don't know anything else.
No, I mean, his legacy, I think, definitely doesn't help that he played his whole career in Detroit. But, I mean, he had Matthew Stafford as his quarterback, and he's very underrated, I think,
Mhm.
just based on that. And it's just really unlucky that Detroit never could just figure him out, because you had
Mhm.
one of the greatest talents at the wide receiver position of
Yeah.
all time. And you
that's
had
that.
a really solid quarterback who was able to get him the ball, but you just couldn't find the other pieces to make even playoff runs. It was just really sad.
All right, and that is the time. So now, last thing, while Darsh is still here, we can talk about predictions.
NFL,
NFL predictions and maybe even baseball predictions. So everything we can milk out of you right now. So we're gonna do 2 minutes, last 2 minutes with Darsh. He's gonna talk about what he thinks is gonna happen in the NFL this season.
Yes.
Just your favorite.
Your
team
hot
or,
takes,
Mhm.
like you know what a hot take is?
Yeah.
Like a take that no one
Mhm.
really thinks, but
Yeah.
you kind of personally think.
Yeah.
Let's do
for
some
sure.
Darsh's hot
This
takes.
is your opportunity to make some calls that no
Mm.
one will think is true, and when it comes true, they can go back to this footage and
Yeah.
be like, Darsh was right.
So yeah,
Okay.
Gotcha.
So we're
Darsh's
gonna do 2
hot
minutes
takes.
on the NFL, the MLB, whatever you want to say. Go ahead.
All right. I think the Packers will go to NFC championships and lose again.
That's not a very hot take. I mean,
That's not a hot take.
Yeah.
But about maybe I'll talk about Brady. He's gonna go for his 8th if he.
Yes,
wins.
he
Yes.
will. He has 7
All
right
right.
now.
I think 8th is an even number. 4 on each hand. I hope he wins then. Just for
Okay.
the symmetry. Let's see. They're gonna do good this year.
Okay.
I believe it.
I like that
Who do you
prediction.
think's gonna be
Good
playing
defense.
quarterback for him? Garoppolo or the rookie quarterback Trey Lance?
I think Garoppolo.
Okay.
Yeah. Just no reasoning behind it.
Not
All
his
right. You
face.
think, yeah, you just got it.
Yeah. Let's see what else.
So who do you think
Yeah,
is going to the
give me
Super Bowl?
predictions.
Yeah. Super
All
Bowl
right.
predictions.
So you're saying Brady's
Brady,
gonna
yeah.
win.
Bray's getting it, but who's he beating?
Who's he beating? So he's playing for NFC.
Mm-hmm.
Think AFC teams like
The
the
Chiefs,
Bills,
the
the
Bills,
Raiders,
the
the Chiefs.
Patriots.
Will it be a Super Bowl rematch? Is that what
You
we're
think
thinking
Mahomes
here?
is going back to the Super Bowl?
I don't
Lamar
think
Jackson.
I'm gonna
Oh,
say
the
no.
Ravens.
No,
Ravens.
The
yeah.
Ravens.
You're the Ravens,
Okay.
There we go.
I like that.
So Darsh
I
has the
don't
Ravens and the Bucks for the Super Bowl this year, and he has
Yeah.
the Bucks winning.
Yeah.
Correct. Awesome.
Okay.
30 seconds. What are your predictions for baseball? Who do you think is going to make it to the World Series?
Ooh. Padres.
The Padres.
Oh,
Padres.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Just 'cause I saw them play against the A's, demolished us. So they're looking good. I think they can make it.
Okay.
And then I don't know about which league is.
Let's see. I'll give you some choices.
Yankees,
we don't like the
Blue
Astros.
Jays, A's,
Red Sox.
Red Sox.
Red
Yeah.
Sox?
the
Okay.
All
Reds-
right.
That is a very big
represent
possibility.
There you go,
Boston. All
okay.
right, yeah.
So
There we go.
Darsh has a Boston Red Sox and a San Diego Padres World Series.
Who's winning
Yeah.
it?
Who's winning
though?
it?
Boston.
Boston.
Wow.
Okay.
All right.
Would you go to a World Series game?
Yes.
You would?
Yeah.
If you're down there, if they get to the World
Yeah.
Series?
I live like 3 blocks from the Fenway Park.
Wow.
So I'll definitely go.
Looking
Would
forward
be
to
worth it.
So,
Join me there.
guys,
For sure.
place your bets. The Red Sox are winning the
You
World
heard-
Series,
you heard it here
and
first.
the Buccaneers are going to win the Super
You
Bowl
heard it here
again.
first.
Let's go.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Darsh.
Thank you, Darsh. Thank you for guesting. Everyone give
Thank
them a
you.
round of applause. Yes, sir.
We appreciate you stopping by, dude.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Now that Darsh has been sent off, thank you again, Darsh, for guesting. It meant a lot.
First guest
I know.
ever.
First
Is
guest ever.
huge.
Now we're gonna move on to the NBA because
Yes.
we only went over day 1 of free agency, and
Now
while
there's
that was
day
already
2, 3,
crazy,
4, 5, 6, 7.
and it's still going,
yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
we're gonna go over the rest of what has happened in free agency so far. So, Tommy, we're gonna do
yeah.
2 minutes on the rest of what the Warriors have done.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna do 2 minutes.
So the Warriors.
We're gonna
That's
do
a
2
good
minutes
one.
on what the rest of the Warriors have done.
Okay.
Last time we ended off on
They
the
got-
breaking news of Otto
Yeah,
Porter.
Otto Porter was signed.
Right?
Okay, so let's
and ever
talk.
since then, there've been more moves. So,
So
2
the
minutes.
just Warriors moves. 2
Yep.
minutes. Ready,
3,
set,
2,
go.
1, go.
They were all right, and I like I like the direction the Warriors are going with even more. I like how they got Belitza and Andre Iguodala, 2 guys that at best are good role players, at worst are bench warmers. I don't think them getting a guy like a Patty Mills, let's say, who has to be in the rotation is the best thing because we need minutes for Poole, we need minutes for Kuminga,
Mhm.
we need
Yeah.
minutes for Wiseman, and we need minutes for Moody to see how they develop. And I think taking those minutes away from them for an aging veteran isn't the best thing. What do you think?
I just have one very important comment to make. I don't even like Tommy pretty much covered everything else. But just the fact that we traded away Eric Pascal for a second-round pick was very questionable to me, unless it leads to another big signing or a big trade. It really doesn't make sense, but good for Eric Pascal. The guy wasn't really getting that many minutes with Golden State anyway.
Yeah.
But still, like he was a great talent for the Warriors,
Look,
and I feel like he was a very important part of the team either way. So.
I don't. I think he was. The problem with Pascal was his role was so similar to what Draymond was early on in his career and what he is now that he just could not get minutes. Because he was, when Draymond was in, you really couldn't put him and Draymond together because who's going to play center? Draymond, but then he's power forward, but it just didn't fit. Yeah. But I think we could have gotten more for him. That's my problem. Like,
he's not worth a second round pick.
A protected second round pick is what's worse.
Yeah.
Like I think he could have been added on a deal. I think there's a team out there that likes him. I think the Jazz, Donovan Mitchell, he's friends with him, so I think he might find a role there, and I hope he does.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I hope it leads to something big, maybe a bigger signing. There's not a lot of big names left on the market, but maybe a trade could be on the horizon.
Hopefully not Ben
Simmons.
Should we go 2 minutes on Ben Simmons?
Can we do 2 minutes on Ben Simmons?
Let's just talk about Ben Simmons. Yeah.
All right. So, that's the time for the Warriors. Now we're gonna have 2 minutes on Ben Simmons, and I'm pretty sure that Tommy's gonna get like a minute and 30 of this. So I'm gonna take the first 30 seconds.
No, you take it first.
I'll take it first, and then you can just lead the way. Okay. Yeah. 30 seconds of Ben Simmons. Here we go. I don't hate Ben Simmons, but I also don't like Ben Simmons. Right. So, what has happened in the past week is we've heard that he's pretty much cut off all communications from the Sixers, which means he's either not starting game 1 of the season or he's getting traded away. Something's going to happen with Ben Simmons, and I don't know what it is. I don't really care as long as it doesn't touch our team. Go ahead, Tommy. That was my 30 seconds.
Okay. Look, Ben Simmons he is such a good talent, but it's trending in the wrong direction. And why would the Warriors ruin what they have? They have a big three that has won 3 championships together. They have a young core to help balance that out and to push them when they get older. The young guys are going to help carry them. So why would we stunt that and ruin that by adding a guy who has not said that he wants out? He hasn't said, I want to play for Golden State. He says he has cut ties with all communication in the Sixers, even Joel Embiid, and he said, I'd play in Golden State. Like, he didn't say I want to. He said, I'll play, which is a red flag. You don't want a guy like that in the locker room, and especially with the trades the Sixers want. I don't think the Warriors are going to be able to. And, like, what do the Warriors have that the Sixers, like, want? Like, is Wiggins really that good? Like, do you want Wiseman? Like, you have Embiid. Like, do you really want like that young core with Joel Embiid like that? So it just makes no sense on either side. I think the best thing for Ben Simmons and the Sixers is if somehow Damian Lillard says he wants out. That's the only way I think Ben Simmons or Damian Lillard gets traded, is if Lillard says he wants out and then they like swap and they figure out a trade.
All right, and that is the 2 minutes on Ben Simmons.
My goodness, that guy is a bum.
I completely forgot to talk about this during the Warriors segment, but I think that the best move that any team actually has made this offseason is the Warriors signing Steph Curry for 4 more years.
That's huge.
I think that's like the number one move. I don't even care if like there's been like big free agent signings. For me, personally, as a Warriors fan, as a Steph Curry fan, that is the best move that has happened for me.
Yes.
So,
well, if you really think about it, every time the Warriors have like extended Steph Curry, the Warriors have done amazing the next year.
Yeah,
20.
It's true.
People thought they overpaid him the first contract, and then he went on to be like all-star level the next season in 2013. Then they extended him, I believe, in 2017. They won the finals in 2018. Yeah, even with Kevin Durant, but still. And then now they just extended him, so expect big things in Golden State, because that's the trend.
I like that pattern.
That's the good trend right now.
All right. Now, moving on to more free agent signings. more for free agency moves. We're gonna talk about the Chicago Bulls.
Wow.
Because we talked about the Chicago Bulls in the last episode.
Yeah.
When they got Alex Caruso and Lonzo Ball.
We're like, yeah, it was a pretty good haul.
But then they got DeMar DeRozan.
Crazy.
So now the potential starting five, we can talk about. We're gonna 2 minutes on the Bulls starting now.
Yes.
Starting now. All right. So we got the potential starting five for the Bulls, consisting of Lonzo Ball, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Patrick Williams, and Vucevic.
Wow.
Plus, they have Caruso as their sixth man.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty deep roster. I mean,
really good.
And they still have. Do they still have Kobe White? They still have these like.
I think they still have. Do they? No, they don't have Thomas.
No. So I mean, it's a pretty good team.
Lauri Markkanen's still a free agent out there, so he could. I don't think he might come back, but maybe, who knows?
So, what do we think, Tommy? Like, are the Bulls a serious team?
I think the Bulls are a top. I don't even know where to say with this team because there's still too many question marks. But for me, this team is a top 6 team in the East. I think there's a lot of teams in the East that are going to have regressive seasons that's going to propel the Bulls higher. Yeah. There's no way this team doesn't make the playoffs. This team they have the talent to make the playoffs. And look, Zach LaVine just came off an Olympic gold medal, and Vucevic is an all-star. DeMar DeRozan is an all-star. Lonzo Ball has the potential to be an all-star, and all of those guys are hungry for one thing: a championship. And they're all
even just the deep playoff run.
That's right. Yeah,
just like prove to Chicago that they still have what it takes to be a winning city.
Yes, they haven't. They really well, if you count the Derrick Rose era, which is kind of like a mini little era. They haven't been really relevant since Michael Jordan was there.
And that's a big problem. Because Chicago is a basketball city.
Yes.
Right? Like, I don't care if they have 2 baseball teams. I don't care if they have the Bears. To me, Chicago is a basketball
city. They do have a hockey team, too. But it is a big basketball town.
So, I think that them finally starting to make these moves again says a lot on what Chicago wants to happen this coming season.
Oh, yeah. They want big things, and they're planning big things, and I hope that they get it done. Yeah. I'm excited to see. I will say this: I'm excited that a lot of big market teams are now like actually relevant,
spending money.
That's a big deal, and we can. And there's other. You want me to name some of them? The Heat, the Knicks.
Yeah, exactly.
The Lakers. There's another team, even the Warriors. Yeah. But like all those big market teams, and when they are relevant, the league prospers. So I think that's a good thing.
All right, so we're gonna do now we're gonna do another 2 minutes, just talking about the Knicks, because the Knicks were a very surprising team the last season, and with some of their new additions, they could do it again. So 2 minutes on the Knicks, starting now. Kemba Walker.
I think that was a great move for him. Hometown kid. He is going to really shine because they need an offensive creator, and that's what Kemba Walker is. And he has the opportunity to shine.
I just don't think he's been given the opportunity like he has been in Charlotte.
No, in
Boston, he was like he was just there.
I agree. Yeah, he really because Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown really were the offense, and even they had
and the Celtics just can't produce a productive offense they can't use their players well enough that they can just do well. You know, the Celtics had good players. They had a good coach. I just don't know what happened.
I don't understand it either.
But this is about the Knicks, not the Celtics. Yeah,
let's get rid of the Celtics. But even they got Fournier. The Celtics lost Fournier and Kemba after losing Gordon Hayward and who else? Al Horford. But they got Al Horford back. Thompson. Yeah. So, but the Knicks are, I think, actually a team. They're a scary team. I think this team could potentially move into top team in the East, because I think the Bucks and the Nets obviously are they're gonna be the 1-2 in that area. But the Heat, the Hawks, the Bulls, they're teams that Knicks also have question marks too because they're a new team. So we'll see how they kind of fluctuate in that.
So I'll ask you this: who do you have getting a better seed in the East, the Bulls or the Knicks, as of right now?
As of right now, I would say the Knicks because their team construction-wise is the same. They added things that they needed. The Bulls are completely new, so it's going to take a lot of time to adjust.
I agree with that. Yeah. I think the Bulls are there, but the Knicks have been there.
Yes.
They were there last season, and I think they'll continue.
Uh-huh.
And with the addition of Walker and Fournier, I think it's a very, very solid team that could actually make I mean, I agree with you. They could make a push for the top team in the East.
Yeah, they kept all their role players too.
Yeah.
They kept the core. Julius Randle was really good last year, most improved, and Kemba Walker and Kemba Walker could form an underrated duo in the league.
For sure. All right, now we're going to talk about 2 minutes, just the rest of what has happened in free agency. I'm going to bring up some topics, and you just give me your thoughts, okay?
Okay.
2 minutes starting now. So we're going to start off with Spencer Dinwiddie heading to the Wizards.
Great move for the Wizards. Losing Westbrook, but gaining Dinwiddie, it gives Bradley...
It's not an upgrade, but it's like...
But it gives Bradley Beal the opportunity to shine.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a big thing for him. I think now he's the focal point of the offense, and it's a kind of do-or-die situation if he's going to stay or not.
Yeah.
But Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell, and KCP adding Dinwiddie, and they had a pretty good roster last year with Westbrook, and they kept that. So I think they're a playoff team, and I think they could.
I think the Wizards are a playoff.
They
team.
could be a 7-8 playoff team right there, and who knows? Bradley Beal could walk into the MVP conversation.
All right, we got Victor Oladipo staying with the Heat for another year.
I think that's good for him. Injury wise, it's
that's what
I don't know how much of an impact he's going to be throughout the season for the Heat, and I think it makes sense for him to stay one more year.
All right, we got John Collins agreeing to a 5-year, $125 million extension.
And don't forget, Trae Young signed a huge extension too.
Exactly.
I think the Hawks made the right move there. Atlanta isn't a big market city. They're not going to get the biggest free agents, so keeping those guys together and hopefully they'll gel together and grow. I think that's a good thing for them.
All right.
I know you're not a big Trae Young fan, but I think it works out.
I definitely think John Collins is a big part of that young team.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's been through a lot. He's gone through a lot of the process, and seeing him thrive actually makes me like him and the Hawks more. We got 20 seconds. What else do we have?
Patty Mills to the Nets. What do you think about that?
It's better than the Lakers.
That's what I was thinking. I think it actually works out for him personally because he's going on the bench. He's going to lead that bench unit. Mm-hmm. And if guys like Kyrie or Harden and even KD are hurt all the time, I think he could actually lead the Nets at times and still win games.
Right, and that's the time. But what do we think about Kelly Oubre to the Hornets?
You know what?
Was it like a I don't care type thing?
It was kind of like a I don't care. I think it actually makes sense for the Hornets to get a guy like Kelly Oubre. Mm-hmm. They're trying to box office themselves is what I'd call it, like getting a big name or big face guy. You see what I did there? Big face.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But
Tsunami Poppy.
But no, I think it's a good move to get a guy like that, and with LaMelo Ball. You see LiAngelo Ball, how good he's doing in the G League.
Yeah.
So I think that was a good move for him. And like the Gordon Hayward signing that they had, if they keep making those kinds of signings, they could put together a pretty solid squad.
All right. Now we're going to do 2 minutes because I'm very interested in this topic. We're at 2 minutes on a very less talked about team because I don't really like them as much. So we're going to have 2 minutes on the Clippers because so it's 2 minutes starting now. They re-signed Kawhi, or reports say they re-signed Kawhi, and reports also say that they re-signed Reggie Jackson.
Yeah.
So 2 moves to keep what pretty much kept them afloat last season. So what do we think about that?
I think they are at the bottom of the Western Conference playoffs now, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Playoffs. I don't think that's a bad thing for them because I think what they did without Kawhi was really impressive. But I think with the teams and with the West being so strong, and I don't think injuries are going to play as big of a role next year, the Clippers are vulnerable to that.
Yeah.
Their guys aren't getting younger. They have a pretty veteran-led squad, and I don't think they're going to try as hard in the regular season, and they're going to save it for the playoffs. And who knows, a Lakers-Clippers first-round series. We haven't seen that series yet. We've been hyped about it since Kawhi went to LA.
Yeah.
Everyone's been saying Lakers-Clippers, Western Conference Finals is going to be more entertaining than the Finals. We haven't seen it yet. Yeah. Last year it was the Lakers that made the Western Conference Finals. This year it was the Clippers that made it. So I actually don't want to see that in the Western Conference Finals, but I think
it's not entertaining to me.
No,
but I think it's entertaining.
First round series would be super cool.
It's hard for me to talk about the Clippers just because the fact that I've said this maybe more than once in this show. They haven't proven anything to me. And I thought that this was the year that they would, and they still didn't.
I think they did a little bit.
I mean, like the fact that I think Paul George was the star of that team.
Yes.
Right? Like, playoff P showed up.
Yeah.
Pandemic P did not. So that was a good thing. But I just wanted to see more of the Clippers, even though I don't like the Clippers.
Yeah.
It's I couldn't say the same about the Lakers, but you can't help but root for a team that has Kawhi Leonard on it.
You like rooting for Kawhi Leonard?
I like rooting for Kawhi Leonard.
I mean, it's
okay, but it's just
okay.
like I'm not gonna be like I want the Clippers to make the finals. So.
I would root against Patrick Beverley any day.
Oh yeah, no. See, that's the number one reason why I don't like the Clippers.
Pretty much because they got a lot of likable guys: Serge Ibaka, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, even Reggie Jackson.
Yeah. There was one move that we forgot to talk about, and that's Carmelo to the Lakers.
Oh, all the Lakers' little signings. Look, I'll just say that we don't even need to go to 2 minutes for this. The Lakers did what they had to, but I'm still not impressed. I'm not impressed with the Lakers. Russell Westbrook, I don't know how they're going to fit together. It's a lot of veteran guys. And look, LeBron and AD, if you bet against them, you're going to bet wrong. And I think that's probably what I'm doing right now. I'm going to bet wrong. Mm-hmm. But I want to be right about this. I think the Lakers I don't think it's going to gel. I think LeBron's going to have a meltdown or something. And it's just not. It's just like he's going to have that midseason moment where he's like, holy moly. Because remember in 2018 where he tried to do all the veteran stuff and then he cleaned house? Mm-hmm. I expect a clean house moment with the Lakers. Don't be surprised if that happens. I think it could potentially happen at the trade deadline where like all those guys get traded.
Now, what about the fact that the Lakers are now considered like an old team?
Weird because they were a really young team.
Like, of all the people on their team, right? I've seen a lot of like memes about this. THT, Taylor Horton-Tucker, is 20 years old, and everyone else is pretty much like way older than him. Yeah. So he's just like looking at all these guys like panting at practice, just like hecka tired, and it makes sense because like they are all old, and I feel like that's what they were going for. Do you think that's what they were going for?
I think LeBron wanted like that veteran leadership that he knows what he's going to get from those guys because he didn't know what he's going to get from Kyle Kuzma all those times. Mm-hmm. So I think it works for him. I think all those guys want to be there to win a championship. So if LeBron can get it done, people are going to talk about it. I don't think anyone should say like Westbrook going to the Lakers like says, oh, LeBron formed a super team because I don't think it is a super team yet. It's not guaranteed success yet. The Nets, I think, was guaranteed success if they were healthy. Yeah.
All right. Now, I have a very interesting question to you.
Okay.
And I feel like I know where this is going to go, but I just want to ask it anyway. Right?
I don't think you know where it's going to go.
We're going to do 2 minutes on this topic.
Wow.
And I'm going to ask you right away. Okay? 2 minutes starting now.
I'm scared.
So, the Raptors said that they're retiring Kyle Lowry's number.
Wow, I know that.
Right? So, they're retiring Kyle Lowry's number.
Yeah.
Does Kyle Lowry deserve that? And does he deserve more like a statue?
Okay, here's my thing about Kyle Lowry. I think, legacy-wise, he's the greatest Toronto Raptor of all time. Vince Carter has done a lot, but he never brought a championship, and he never brought a deep playoff run when he was the leader. Kyle Lowry had a bunch of runs where he was stopped by one guy, LeBron James. When the year LeBron left, Kyle Lowry added Kawhi, and they won a championship. He wasn't the best player on that team. He wasn't the MVP or the Finals MVP, but he was still, he was a leader for that team. I don't think Kawhi was the leader of that team, and he's proving it so far in Los Angeles. Like, he's not a leader. Yeah. Or he's not a born leader. I think Kyle Lowry is, and it really sucks that DeMar DeRozan and him didn't team up in the offseason.
Yeah, I wanted to see that happen.
And it could have happened in Chicago. It was super close.
Yeah. They probably even talked about it. So,
I think they did, and that's why the tampering scandals happen.
oh yeah,
right
see,
now.
that's another thing.
That's another. What do you think about What do you think about tampering as a whole? Do you think
I think tampering is just, it doesn't make sense to me. Like if you wanna talk to someone about going to your team, I feel like you could do that without the fear of punishment.
I think if it's a player-on-player interaction, I think it's fine. But if an executive's like calling
I think
someone
that's
up,
different.
that's different. And I think that's what they're talking about right
Okay.
now. Because if like Zach LaVine called up Lonzo's like, hey, you want to work out, and then they just talk about it, like there shouldn't be a punishment for that.
Well, the time's up on that topic, but I do want to add that yes, I personally think that Kyle Lowry deserves to have his number retired, and I think he deserves all the love from the city of Toronto. I mean, he was the face of that franchise, even though he wasn't the best player. You were right.
Yeah,
he was the face of that franchise for the longest time.
Yes,
right. He put Toronto back on that podium. He gave Toronto a championship. Like,
yeah,
he was a very important player. He wasn't the best player, but I think giving him the respect he deserves is something that Toronto already thought of. Right?
Yes,
the whole city, not just the organization, but the whole city. They've been thinking Kyle Lowry will be missed. Kyle Lowry deserves all this respect.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Kyle Lowry was not the best player to me, but I just think that if I lived in Toronto, even I feel the love, right? Even I feel the love for Kyle Lowry.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's a big loss for the Raptors, but we'll see where they go this coming season. I don't think they're a playoff
I think
team.
they're going to be the worst team in the East. That's my prediction. I think the Magic are going to try a little harder, and the Raptors are just going to go full rebuild.
I think
Siakam's going to get traded. I think they'll keep Fred VanVleet because they're not going to. He has a massive contract, and there's no team that really wants to take that.
Yeah.
So, but who knows?
All right.
Let's talk about. I'll go into a topic really quick. I think we can move on from the NBA, right?
Yeah,
Let's go to the MLB really quick. And big news in Oakland surfaced this week. Big news. I mean,
I already know.
Okay, but A's outfielder Ramon Laureano was suspended 80 games because he tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs or steroids for people who don't know what PEDs mean. I didn't know at first too, but I know if you guys are watching.
Like
PEDs. I was like, what the heck are a PED? No, it's steroids, guys. It has a weird name, and you can look it up.
It was like Nalogen or something.
Yeah,
like
it was something like that. It was like I don't even think it was that common, but it was steroids, and so he's suspended 80 games and he's out for the year. So I mean, your reactions to that 2 minutes.
As an A's fan, it's hard. It's hard to be an A's fan, guys. I mean, we've known this, and me hearing about this was just a bigger blow than ever because Ramon was one of my favorite players on the A's. Like, and not just because he wasn't even doing that good this year. He wasn't even doing. He got hurt, and I was like, look, our offense is still going, right?
Yeah.
So me thinking, man took steroids, but was batting like 215 or something. Like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Right. So to me, just doing something like that, and I don't. I read his like letter, and he says that he was not aware of it, so he was like accidentally ingested. I don't even care about those details.
Yeah.
But the fact that it even happened in the first place, why do people still do it?
I honestly don't.
Like that's like a question. That's like a big question. Like the MLB has cracked down on all these substances.
Yeah.
And I think at this point it's just like if you are stupid enough to do it, you do deserve that 80-game suspension.
And I think it is deserved. If you're caught, you deserve it. I think for the A's' sake, it's a huge blow, but not as huge of a blow as I thought it was going to be. The A's this weekend swept the Rangers, and was it the day that we found out was the Padres walk-off?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they've won 4 straight since then, which is amazing. Just because like
we haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, you go from bad news to a 4-game win streak. Like that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Starling Marte has been amazing.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh my
he's
God.
a huge pickup right there. My goodness.
And I really wish we had the money for him after this season.
I know. But 1-year rental try to get that playoff push, maybe a ALCS appearance this year for the A's.
Yeah, even further. Yeah.
Hopefully. But I mean, I don't want to push that too hard because every time I do,
I know.
it's a
It
first
hurts,
round exit.
guys. It hurts.
It's going to be another first round exit. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
It's okay. Back to the MLB. Let's talk about the other Bay Area team.
He's just ending off on such a depressing note about.
Well, let's go back to the highs of Bay Area sports and Bay Area baseball.
Should have just worn a Giants hat.
The San Francisco Giants. I could get my Giants hat, but I'm gonna wait and stay here. The Giants are the first team to 70 wins, shocking everyone in the process.
Yeah.
That team is right now the best team in baseball. Is ahead of the Dodgers by like 3 to 4 games, 3.5 games for the division. My question to you is, now that we know that the Giants are legit, what do you think is, like, as if you're a Giants fan or if you're the Giants clubhouse, what do you think is like, how do I say this? Would it be a disappointment for them to lose in the playoffs? Like, do you think just getting to the playoffs is an accomplishment for this team? Or like, what do you think is the goal? No.
I don't. I think that they could go all the way. But I also think that losing in the playoffs won't be a big disappointment just because it was not expected at all. Coming into the season, we talked about this. It was not expected that the Giants would do this good. But now that they are, right, I feel like Giants fans are the type, sorry, Giants fans, but I feel like Giants fans are the type to just keep raising their expectations to the point where if they lose in the playoffs, they will be greatly disappointed. But me, as an outsider on this, just saying like, wow, I can't believe the Giants actually did that.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So I think it's more of like, I'm proud that the team did this season more than if they don't win the World Series, I'm not going to be a Giants fan. Like something like that.
Okay. I think it would be a disappointment just because, look, thinking about the core of this team, Buster Posey, 3-time World Series champ. Brandon Crawford, 2-time World Series champ.
Yeah.
Chris Bryant, World Series champ. Brandon Belt, 2-time World Series champ. Johnny Cueto, World Series champ. The core and the age of this team is like they are World Series champs. So just getting to the playoffs is not an accomplishment for those guys. And even the young guys, I think the winning culture that they have, like they're hungry for more than just a playoff appearance.
Yeah.
With a tough division like the NL West, teams like the Dodgers and Padres who are going all in, I think the Giants kind of feel like, hey, we can do it too, and we're doing it better right now. Mm-hmm. They have a very talented pitching. I mean, we talk about the Giants. Pitching staff is great. The lineup is really underrated and really killer right now. Guys like Darren Ruff are killing it right now. And Brandon Belt's back from his injuries, so this team is not only scary now, they will be scary in the playoffs.
Yes, I agree with that. And while the time is up, I think that the Giants are the scariest team in baseball right now. But also, I still don't think that the teams like the Dodgers or teams like the Padres are like, oh no, we're going to face the Giants in a 7-game series. We should be scared.
Okay.
Right? Like, while, yes, there have been, like, yes, the Giants have won, like, 2 out of the 4 series against the Dodgers. And maybe, I mean, look, I'm not even going to compare the Padres to the Giants. The Giants are way better than the Padres right now.
Yeah.
But it's just, like, it's more of, like, I feel like they still have that reputation of they're not this playoff team that can beat us in a 7-game series. Well, and I want the Giants to prove them wrong, but I'm not hearing enough chatter from MLB fans like across to just be like, the Giants have what it takes.
Okay, let me ask you a couple questions. Which team is scarier? We're gonna go through the list, and you're just gonna tell me Giants or this team, and then we'll like change it off if you want to. Here we go. Giants or the Braves? Who's scarier? Giants. Giants or the New York Mets?
The Giants.
Okay. Giants or the Philadelphia Phillies?
The Giants.
Giants or the Cincinnati Reds?
The Giants.
Giants or the Milwaukee Brewers?
Oh, see, that's a tough one.
They just won the series.
Yeah, but after what happened this weekend, the Giants literally came back from two straight games. It was 2 straight games where they just came back, went to extra innings, and won the old-fashioned way, right?
Yeah.
While having a runner on second, whatever. I just because of this weekend, I will say the Giants. But before this weekend, I would have said the Brewers.
Okay, Giants, Padres,
Giants.
Giants, Dodgers.
See, that's where I can't be. I can't. I don't
So
like the Dodgers.
there's only two teams that you're saying that are like you could argue scarier than the Giants, but every other team you can't really argue.
I won't even be like the Giants are not scary.
You just don't think they're scary.
I don't think that I don't want to say I don't think they won't win a playoff series. I don't know. I
think
don't
you're
know.
just scared to say that the Giants because you're an A's fan.
I would love to see the Giants win the World Series. What are you talking about?
I think you're scared to say it because you don't want two disappointments in Bay Area. Like I think that's why you're just too scared to say, and that's why you say like the Dodgers are this big team.
Because if the Giants win, then I'll be like a happy kid. But if they don't win, then I will actually be crushed because
they're such a fun team.
Yeah, they're a fun team to watch. Oh, so yeah. I don't want to put my expectations up for the Giants.
That's fair.
While they have been not just meeting them but also exceeding them. So I'd rather be a defensive A's fan and just say my dream World Series matchup is A's and Giants.
I think we need another Bay Bridge series. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Right. And it looks possible.
It's pretty possible.
Yeah. So, all right. Now, moving on with baseball again, we're gonna do a little flashback to the last episode where I said the Phillies are a team to watch.
Wow.
And Tommy said,
No,
they're
not.
No, they're
Don't
not.
watch them.
But we're gonna talk about how the Phillies just swept. Was it the Braves? I think
it was the Mets.
It was the Mets.
They just swept.
They swept the Mets to now take the lead in the NL East. So, Tommy, the Phillies are now 2 games above the Braves.
Yeah.
And 2.5 games above the Mets. Which puts them at the top of their division.
Yeah.
But also like running away with that like division.
Yeah.
So, how competitive do you think the Phillies, the Braves, and the Mets are going to get nearing the end of the season? 2 minutes go.
Look, the Phillies are still not that team. Look, the Mets have, and I know they have a very tough stretch. Do you know their stretch? They have 2 different series back to back against the Dodgers and the Giants.
Oh.
2 best teams in baseball.
Yeah.
They got to play them in like a 2-week stretch, and that's just it. Home and away, and they got to move. Yeah. So that's a very tough. They have a very tough schedule to finish off their season. The Braves, of course, they've been like the kings of the NL East for the longest time, and I like the team, but they have a lot of injuries, so I'm not sure about them. The Phillies are healthy right now, and I know you said watch out for them, but I still don't think they're going to be that team. In all my history of watching baseball, I see 2 things. Number 1, the Phillies seem to let you down as the season goes on, and 2, Bryce Harper does the same. I think it's just going to happen again. Bryce Harper and the Phillies, as good as Bryce Harper is, very underrated right now, and as underrated as the Phillies are, they're just not going to finish it at the end. Some other team's going to take it.
Okay. So, well, I get the Phillies hate. I get, I don't personally like the Phillies, and it was just, for the last episode, it was just me saying, I definitely think the Phillies are coming, which they are, but whoever comes out of the NL East makes the playoffs, right? Whoever places second, even if they're a half a game behind, won't make the playoffs. And that's just fact, because it's going to be a 3-team NL West type playoff thing where the Dodgers and the Padres, or the Giants and the Padres, both make the wild card, right?
Yeah.
So, I think it's going to get to a point in the season where all 3 teams, the Phillies, the Mets, and the Braves, go into high pressure mode, and they go full in. And while I was defending the Phillies, I can't say that the Phillies will go into that mode and be like, we're winning all our games, right? We're gonna go clutch. We're gonna win all our games. We're gonna make the playoffs. I don't think that's the deal. I just think that they have made such a good push to now take the top place in their division, but I don't think that by the end of the season, that one playoff spot for their division will be going to them. I think it's either the Mets or the Braves for me.
Okay.
And I think that's what you were saying too. But I think that the Phillies have put up a good fight. I want to see if they can keep going, but I don't think so.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just think they're going to let you down. Sorry, Phillies fans.
Yeah.
But Philadelphia has not been a happy sports city since the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
No.
It's just gone
Downhill.
Yeah.
It's just. All right, so now we're gonna do 2 minutes. I'm gonna go over the standings, right?
Okay.
Because, like I said, for the NL, it's pretty much Giants, Dodgers, Padres for the wild card and the division winners.
Yep.
But we're gonna go over the rest of the standings. We're gonna do 2 minutes starting now. First off, we're gonna start with the NL wild card with just the Dodgers and the Padres, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then they have the Reds, who are 2.5 games behind. Do you think the Reds have what it takes to possibly dethrone one of these NL West teams?
No.
No. What about the Braves, who are 6.5 games behind?
Of who?
Of the Padres, who are currently second.
But they are how many games behind the other division? Oh, they're ahead of the Mets.
Yeah, they are ahead of the Mets.
They're not. No one's catching the Padres.
No one's catching the Padres.
Dodgers.
Okay.
No one's catching them.
So,
but I could see the Braves win the division. Like one of those three teams. I don't know who's gonna do it, but I actually think the Braves. I would, if I was betting money on those three teams, the Braves would be the safest bet in my opinion. Okay. I think.
Do you think the Brewers are an instant lock for the playoffs, assuming that the Reds are currently 5 games behind them in the division right now?
Yes, the Red. I don't like anything about the Reds really.
Okay.
They're a team. They're okay.
They're a team.
I think I actually like the Cardinals better than the Reds, and I know the Cardinals are kind of close, but they're not going to catch the Brewers. Brewers are a really good team.
Now, moving on to the American League, which I think is a lot more competitive now that the A's are doing better.
Oh, yeah.
So now we have Tampa Bay, who now leads the Red Sox by 4 games. The last time we filmed an episode, this wasn't the thing. The Red Sox were leading the division.
Yeah.
And now it's the Rays by 4 games, Tommy. That's a big deal.
Yes.
So, do we think that that'll change, or do you think the Rays will keep it up?
Again, the AL East is tough. There's 4 teams right now that all are fighting for a playoff spot. And there could be a scenario where only one team gets in.
Exactly.
And that's crazy.
Yeah.
So, or 3 teams can get in. You don't know.
Yeah. The White Sox, that's the time, but the White Sox are probably a lock.
I think they're a lock in the AL Central.
So now we're going to go to the American League West because the A's are now, don't look now, but A's are 2 games behind the Astros.
What a big swing. What a
big swing, right?
Yeah.
So, and now the A's are also tied with the Red Sox for the top wild card spot.
Yeah.
So, very, very big moves for the A's this weekend. Hopefully nothing bad happens the rest of the season, but I think for the wild card, the Yankees are 2.5 games behind the top spot, which the A's and the Red Sox are tied for. The Blue Jays are 3 games behind, and Seattle is 5.5 games behind. So that's the Mariners were catching up at one point, but we talked about this. I went on a whole rant. They traded away Kendall Graveman. They gave up on the season.
Yeah, it was a big mistake.
It's very Seattle. Whatever. As I'm wearing a Seattle hat.
Different Seattle team.
Seattle team though. But yeah, so for the playoffs, we're thinking the Rays are a lock, the White Sox are a lock. The AL West very, very up on the air. Just because I'm an A's fan, I'm gonna be like.
I'm gonna say the A's do take it. I think the A's do take it. I think bold prediction: Astros miss the playoffs.
I can't wait for
entirely.
Those end of the season A's and Astros matchup.
They got 6 games left, and they're all the last kind of series. That's huge for both of those teams.
And then for the National League, it's pretty much just the NL West versus everyone. So we'll just see what happens with that in the playoffs.
Yeah. And I think the playoffs are gonna be super interesting this year in baseball because last year it was 8 teams, which was a lot, but it was really entertaining. And now that it's back to 5, there's so many teams that are gonna miss the playoffs this year that are actually pretty good.
Exactly.
So
very interesting.
It's gonna be really entertaining. There's a lot of good teams in the MLB this year.
All right, now we're gonna move on to one of the final topics of the day. I just wanted to ask you this: do we think we're gonna 2 minutes on this? Do we think that the MLB should keep the COVID-19 rules, meaning starting a runner on second
Oh.
and the 3 batter minimum, right?
Okay.
3 batter minimum.
Yeah.
Should they keep those? 2 minutes starting now. This is a very big topic.
Is there another COVID rule in baseball? No, it's just those two.
I think it's those two.
Okay, I have differing opinions on them. The 3 batter minimum, I mean, it's tough to say, but I don't like it. I don't like you because strategically, you want to face batter and batter, and I know people are like, you're slowing the game down, but if you're gonna watch baseball, you kind of know what you signed up for. Like, you know what you signed up for.
It's very true.
And
right?
like, even with the 3 batter minimum, there's still gonna be so many pitching changes because like if there's 2 outs, you throw in your lefty, and let's say he doesn't get that out, instead of throwing in your normal guy, he could extend the inning to like 3 or 4 more batters.
Yeah,
and he's got to stay in for those guys. So that's an issue. I think the runner at second I actually really do like. I like because there's a lot of strategy with that.
Yeah.
The pitching, I don't think there's that much strategy, but and I really need to see more bunting.
More bunting. I am all for bunting.
You see Starling Marte's bunt single today?
That's what I'm saying.
And
right?
it wasn't even like.
And the A's don't bunt. The A's never bunt. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, we're bunting now? Like, is this what's happening?
I gave a standing ovation.
Yeah.
By myself in my living room. I was just like, that was just beautiful.
Exactly. I think I agree with Tommy fully. I think that the extra inning second base runner rule should stay. I know a lot of people differ with my opinion because they're like, play baseball the right way.
Yeah.
But also, guys, like, you realize that people don't like watching baseball because it's such a slow game. And if it extends past what it was supposed to, we want to speed that up.
Yeah.
Just saying, right? And that involves a lot of strategy, and I love seeing what managers have done. Like, either they bunt the runner to third, or like, it's like there's a lot of
stealing bases.
Yeah, right?
As a pitcher, do you walk the first batter?
That's what I'm saying.
There's so much
and
strategy.
for the pitcher rule, I think that should not be a thing because one thing that I loved, especially in the playoffs, right? You would love to see a lefty face a righty or a righty face a lefty.
Yeah.
And those are very, very important decisions that a manager has to make because if you're deep in the game and you need to win the game, you don't want an advantage for the batter just because you can't change your pitcher.
Yeah.
Right? That's very important to me.
I feel like that's bad. You don't want to give the batter more advantages like that. Or it's like, but like don't, because like a batter, because if you put in a pinch hitter, let's say, and then you switch your pitcher because you're like, no, I want the matchup, and then now that guy's stuck. Yeah. So a batter could you're just gonna throw in a pinch hitter just so the next 2 batters he has to face, you're gonna have good advantages against him. So that's kind of how I feel.
All right, now we're nearing the end of the episode. We're gonna go over the rest of what happened at the Tokyo Olympics. So, Tommy, we're gonna 2 minutes each. Okay, I'm gonna 2 minutes for me, 2 minutes for you. Just highlights.
Oh, the highlights of the Tokyo Olympics coming to an end.
What have we not talked about that needs to be talked about, or what have we talked about that needs to be talked about more? So, we're gonna start. I'll
start. I'll give my minute. Let's go each a minute, and then we'll be done.
Okay.
All right. Just the highlights of everything.
Okay. Ready, 3, 2, 1, go.
My first highlight is Team USA women's water polo won their 3rd straight Olympic gold medal.
Yes.
That's big time.
Well, we have a special guest.
Oh, hello, Kat. All right, you can stay.
For those of you listening, there's a cat.
There is a cat now on the screen, but that's okay. All right, now I lost 20 minutes because the darn cat. Her name's Sassy, by the way. It's very, it makes sense. Also, highlight for me was Team Australia men's basketball won their 1st Olympic medal, which I thought was crazy. That was amazing. Just watching them, they were a really great team. I think everything came together, and with Ben Simmons not on the team, it all worked out, and they got an Olympic medal. I am dead serious when I say this. Adding Ben Simmons would have tanked them, and they would have been really bad. All right, Theo, my minute's up. You're up now.
Okay, last episode I talked about how much I love watching volleyball, and the fact that the USA women's volleyball team finally won their 1st gold medal ever.
Wow.
Was a big, very, very big deal, right? And they beat Brazil, who's pretty much been the powerhouse in women's volleyball.
Yeah.
And watching that game was amazing because you see these new stars, up and coming stars for volleyball, just succeed. And not just that, women's beach volleyball also got gold.
Oh yeah.
Right? So that's very, very,
there you go.
very, very good highlight for me. Another highlight is, have you seen Tom Daly? Do you know who Tom Daly is? The diver. This man finally finished his sweater. He's a diver, right?
Uh-huh.
So divers just like watch other events while they're waiting for theirs. Like,
yeah.
I guess swimmers also.
Uh-huh.
So they caught him. They were just like, they had a camera on him knitting while waiting for the events. He's British, by the way. Okay. So he finally finished the sweater he was knitting.
Wow.
Right. So I think that was one of the biggest highlights.
That's
for
actually
me,
that's a really big highlight.
Yeah.
I'll go with a little more before we. Allison Felix.
Yeah, Allison Felix
Getting, the most medals.
Most decorated
track and field. Women's track and field.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's amazing. What else? Oh, Team USA basketball. I talked about Australia, but Team USA won another gold.
Yay.
Yay. I was like, Australia, I was wishing, or even Luca to get a medal.
Yeah.
But, for that Team USA, I'm glad that they were able to, bring themselves together and,
Look, I wasn't
gold.
a doubter. I just didn't want, I don't know.
I just wanted to see something new.
I didn't doubt Team USA. I was never like, they're going to lose.
No, because
but I was like, I want them to lose.
I want them to lose.
So that's very different things. Because Draymond was going off.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see that? He was going off on people who was like, oh, Team USA is not winning this, not winning anything.
Well, as soon as Steph Curry wasn't going to be on Team USA, we're like, okay.
Yeah.
Am I really invested in this as much? No.
Yeah.
What else happened? Oh, baseball. Japan won.
Japan and softball. So yeah, both softball and baseball. It was Japan versus the U.S. for the gold medal match, and Japan won both of those. So that just says a lot about how important baseball and softball is to Japan.
Oh, it is huge.
It is very huge.
Just watching their reactions to even Ichiro or Shohei Ohtani just being they're mega stars there. Even bigger than I think that what LeBron James is to America. They are huge.
So I saw that Serbia won the men's water polo gold. Aren't they just really good at men's water polo?
Yeah, there's a bunch of teams in that Europe area that are just always good. I think Hungary is another one of those teams. Even I'm trying to think of what is it? The Czech Republic? No, Croatia. That's the one. Croatia. Is there another team? But no, in Team USA for the men's side, they got 5th.
Oh,
or no, they got 6th. They were okay. They weren't expected to do that well, but 6 is pretty solid.
Okay, and finally, I have one last one. So the last episode we were talking about what our favorite Olympic sport was. I said volleyball. Now I'm changing my answer. Officially.
Wow.
Yeah. Sport walking is now my favorite Olympic sport. If you guys haven't seen any of the clips, they just power walk like your grandma taught you. I mean,
my goodness.
It was so entertaining to watch because they got penalties every time they didn't have a foot on the ground. They got penalties every time.
Hey,
yeah, and it was
slow down.
Yeah, they would put a paddle to their face. They would put a yellow paddle or a red paddle if they were yellow carded or red carded, and it was very interesting because it was it was a lot. It was a lot to take in. It was a lot to watch, and the fact that I was watching the 50-kilometer one, and it was just it was on the road, it was on the streets, so it was just a circuit on the streets. So pretty much people were passing each other every 10 seconds, and it was just imagine getting passed by someone just going like this.
Just going.
That's if you were to get passed by a grandma when you were walking in the park.
Yeah.
Right? So, very, very interesting sport. Can't wait to watch it in 3 years. Again.
That's right.
So,
2024.
Yeah.
Where is it in 2024?
Paris. Yes.
That's going to be exciting.
Looking forward to that one. So,
hopefully we still have a show by then.
Yeah. Hopefully we can talk about... No, definitely. You know what I said? They planned the Tokyo 2020 Olympics to be postponed so that we get to talk about it on the show.
Yes.
So now we get to talk about it.
Yeah. So now we have to make sure
that we're going until 2024.
That's right.
And that we are famous enough to get a press pass for LA 2028.
I think that would be the goal. I think,
That's our goal.
Yeah,
That's
the
our goal. Yeah.
Okay, you ready?
Okay. Yeah. All
Goal.
right.
Oh,
This
that was
episode.
bad.
Yeah. I know. This episode. We're gonna go back to this episode when we have a press pass for the 2028 Olympics.
Yes.
And it's gonna be fun.
Huge flashback moment.
Yeah.
Hopefully that happens.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, that's okay.
All right, and I think that's it for this episode,
Yeah.
unless we're forgetting something, which I don't think we are.
I don't think we are.
All right, so I was gonna say this earlier, but we are now on Spotify,
Whoop whoop.
and Anchor. If you don't have Spotify, we're gonna be on Apple Podcasts soon, so we're gonna be wherever you get your podcasts from.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So
Give us a
especially
listen.
that last episode, like I said to a bunch of people, don't watch it. Just listen to it.
Just listen.
Just
to
listen
us.
to it. I mean,
Listen to our
this
voice.
is going to be on YouTube, but it's also going to be on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts.
We're gonna start doing more stuff
Yeah.
in podcasts and not with
Yeah.
our faces. So
Mhm.
you better get on that
Yeah.
stuff.
And more big news. Like I said, we already have an Instagram, 2minute_warning, but we also now have a TikTok.
We're gonna be posting more on there too.
That's
little,
crazy.
Like, short reaction because again we're timing.
Yeah.
We're not very easily
Yeah.
like accessible
Mhm.
for this. So any little update stuff, we'll
Yep.
get those quick.
I don't know what the TikTok
I think it's
username
it's
is.
the same
Yeah.
thing.
2minute
_underscore warning.
2minute_warning for the TikTok. So
Yep.
make sure to follow that one. That one's going to be pretty short TikTok. So if
Yeah.
you're sick of hearing us talk for like an hour, just go on
Listen
our
to us
TikTok.
for a minute or
Yeah.
less. There you go.
All right. So with all that updates aside, I think we're good for the day.
I think so.
All right. Send him off, Tommy.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you check out our socials. Check out us on where you get your podcasts. We will see you guys next time.
Bye.